Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Cold Take Podcast. My name is John.
And I'm Dom.
Dom's our new co-host, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Now I don't have to do this all by myself. I was just in Salt Lake City this past weekend, but now we're back at the studio. I feel like it's been forever because we went a week without an episode. So I had two guests back to back, which was completely unintentional. But I have this little incense holder, which when this episode comes out, there will be absolutely no idea. It's going to be on that camera, not on these side ones. There will be absolutely no idea of, oh shit, pickles. There will be absolutely...
Ooh, come here.
There will be
Okay, he's on
absolutely no...
It's okay. It's okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, I meant to say this at the beginning of every episode. But for those listening to the audio version of this on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all of that, there is a video version available on YouTube and Spotify so that you don't have to go 45 minutes into this and not realize that there's a video version. So you could see that the lizard just almost tried to jump off my back.
Suicide lizard.
Bent my arm really weird, and now my neck feels really bad. So basically what I was saying is at this moment of recording and when this episode comes out, there will be no idea about what this thing is for any of you guys, but it was a gift given to me by the guest or gift given to us by the next guest episode. It is a little incense holder, and he makes like these incense cones out of sawdust. So I was like, oh, we're gonna make this place smell like wood.
I worked at Bath and Body Works, so I will be judging this. 4 years. I'm a veteran.
Like
I did a whole tour in Bath and Body Works. 4 years. That's a whole tour.
Oh damn, that thing.
It burns quick.
I like the way that it smokes.
Hey, where are you going?
That's pretty cool.
I'm sorry.
So he actually has like live streams and stuff of when he sits there and makes incense cones, because he'll make a ton of them at a time, and then he sells them on his website. But
I'm kind of excited for it.
It smells like incense. No, we showed up I showed up and he was like, I brought a gift, and I'm like, damn, that's the nicest thing somebody's done for us so far, and it already went out.
I think this will be the first venture that I've done online that I've used my real name for. Because everybody online knows me as Siler. So it's the first thing that actually has my name on it that's not like... I've always said, if Siler Smith goes down, I'm fine. It's not my real name.
I think I'm laughing too hard for this fucking thing. Oh no, it's fine now.
Seems like
I'll move it up
actually,
here
it's pretty
if
nice.
I keep blowing it out.
I like it.
It smells like incense.
That's what I say. It's not bad.
It actually isn't that bad.
I don't know how good it'll be in a small environment, because it's...
There's probably not much air in here.
I was going to say, I'm not sure how much airflow we'll have for it.
No, on the way here.
Okay.
On the way to the studio, me and Dom were talking about how we went to Alaska back in October, and we would like to go again this year. So we're kind of we're debating we're considering like July, August time, because that's when there's 16 hours of daylight, and then like going back in like October to December when there's like 7 hours of daylight and just all darkness for the rest of the time.
I can't do all darkness. I'll get depressed.
Sunsets.
I get depressed here. I'll get depressed.
No, sunset kind of sucks there, because when we were there, it was me, Jordan, you, and both of your brothers. So there were 5 of us there, and we would wake up. I think it was like we would wake up at like 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock or something like that.
No, we were getting up like 6, 7 in the morning most of the time. Like,
well,
it was,
that's because they're 4 hours ahead of time.
Yeah, it was easy for them.
Yeah, 4 hours behind us.
Yeah.
So we were waking up at 6 thinking it was 10. And we were saying every night, like, oh, we'll plan to wake up at 8, but everybody was up really early.
That's what I was up early. It was a nice
because the sunset in October, it was like 8:30, 9 o'clock. The beginning of the trip, the sunset was like 8:30. By the end of the trip, we were only there for a week in the middle of October, the 17th to 24th.
7-ish, 6, 7 o'clock-ish, I'm going to say when it was.
Or sunrise, I mean.
Sunrise
was like 8:30 in the morning.
It was delayed more than that because of the mountains and stuff would block it.
Well, yeah, that's like the actual sunrise. Yeah. But then you got Mount Denali, which is the tallest mountain in North America. So the sun has to try to make it over that.
Yeah, that was wild.
And then you'd have sunset at like 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I feel like you.
By the
how
end of the
you're
trips,
here and it's like early in the morning and it's like it's got that nice little morning haze going. And it's like, bro, it is 1 p.m. and we still got morning haze going over here.
Yeah.
Like, it was wild. It really was.
And it's always funny whenever we travel for the podcast. I was telling Jordan earlier today. We were talking about I think it's called Kobuk Sand Dunes in Kobuk National Park. And I was like, what if we do a podcast like with the wireless microphones in the middle of the desert? Because
I still don't want to die.
We'll get to that in a second. But no, it was because, so basically the thing is, obviously there's a lot of traveling that's involved with like guests and stuff like that. So this past weekend in Salt Lake City, I was meeting with one of the guests at 9 a.m., which is a lot earlier than most people would like be on cameras and talking. So I was planning to wake up at 8. And then one thing that was funny was that the guy that does the payroll for my company, I got a text at 1:30 in the morning Utah time, which was 3:30 in the morning this time because he lives here, saying that he paid me. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing running payroll at 3:30 in the morning on it was a Sunday morning. No, Monday morning. So that was just funny by itself. And then, yeah, I woke up at like 6 and I was like, it must be 8 o'clock. But then I look at my phone and I'm like, I can't go back to sleep. But then I just, messed around for the rest of the time. And because I already had all my stuff ready because I recorded from the night before as well.
I can go back to sleep at any point. Like I've been trying to wake up at 6 in the morning for like 3 months now. And I'll get up at 6, but I go right back to sleep.
Oh,
every single time. Like I cannot stay up. We've gotten to the point where 8 or 9 o'clock is starting to get a little bit better. 9, I'm good. 8 is getting there. But like I want to be up at 6 to be productive before I start like my work day and
stuff.
stuff.
Well, if you move to California, then it'll be 6.
That'd be easy then. Like I'm not in California. But yeah, no, it's I've been trying to get up earlier and earlier and I just can't. No matter how much I try, I can't. I go back to sleep like that.
Yeah.
I will get up, I'll be active, walking around, like doing stuff around the house. I go back into my room and just boom, done. Like every single time. If I think I've got 20 minutes, I'm going back to sleep. I'm not kidding. I would trade most things for sleep.
It's gotten to the point where sometimes he's going to get himself trapped again. It's gotten to the point where like sometimes I like sleeping, but sometimes I'm like, I really don't want to fall asleep right now. Like in the middle of the day, if I'm like laying in my bed, I'm starting to get tired. I wish I wasn't tired. But like yesterday, I got back from Atlanta area and I like went and laid in my bed for a while and I was watching Narnia, which I haven't seen in forever.
Forgot about Narnia. I forgot about it.
It was like 5:30 in the afternoon. I'm like, this is a really bad time to go to sleep. I feel tired. And I'm like, please don't fall asleep. And the next thing I know, I'm like,
out. Yep, out.
like out. And then to the point where I was like half asleep at some point when my dad like texted me. He's like, when was the last time the dogs were out? And I said, a few weeks ago. So I was like, what the hell?
I would trade most things for sleep, honestly. If I'm hungry, like really hungry, I will still choose sleep. And that's saying something because I love food. Like
yeah.
I love food, but doesn't matter what it is, I will always choose sleep over it like 95% of the time. There's not a whole lot that will get me up. If it's like early in the morning, you're like, you want to eat and somebody brought food, I will get out of bed, I'll eat, I'll go back to sleep.
Yeah.
But like if the choice is between sleep or like going out or something, I'm going to sleep.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to sleep. If you're like, oh, we're gonna go to this restaurant this morning. Is it a good restaurant? It's okay. I'm going to sleep. Like it's just that simple.
We're going to IHOP. Going back to sleep.
Going back to sleep. Needs to be something better.
No.
Waffle House. No I'm kidding.
Yeah.
No, I do that at night when it's dangerous.
No, we were trying to find a place for you to get food on the way here, and you were like, "There's a Waffle House."
That's the Waffle House that we used to go to a lot after when I was doing events on Sunday nights at TK. We would end there around 2ish, and then go to the Waffle House on Hillsborough at like 3 in the morning.
Yeah. And
a lot of times we'd be there till like 5ish and stuff, but seen some crazy things at that Waffle House actually. The first time I think we pulled up, there was this group of people that were like twerking on their cars in the parking lot.
Oh, of course.
At Waffle House at 3 in the morning. And then we went inside and the cook looked like, you can imagine Drake, but buff, like ripped Drake. And there was a customer in there that was harassing the ever-living hell out of him. It was literally every single time. It was like, Drake, come here, Drake.
No,
He was calling him Drake. He's like, Drake, hey, Drake, I need a refill. Drake. I'm not exaggerating. That's how he was talking to this guy. This poor cook is just kind of shaking his head. This dude could break this dude in half. Like, this dude is ripped. Like, if you can imagine military chef Drake,
Jesus.
that is what this guy was. And it just, guy just kept going. This went on for hours. Just, Drake, hey, Drake, I need this, Drake. This guy's name is not Drake. His name is like Michael or something like that. But he's just harassing the ever-living hell out of him. It was ridiculous. It was funny as hell, though. But yeah. And the other funny thing is there's chickens at that Waffle House.
Oh.
Like, just
dude, you'll find
running around just completely.
You'll find the dumbest animals in any part of Florida. The thing that will never make sense to me is that there's iguanas in Miami, which that enough doesn't make
They're
sense.
invasive.
But the fact that you go out of Miami, you don't see them for the entirety of the rest of Florida.
They just stay in one area.
Why don't they go to the rest of Florida? They
eat them down there.
They literally just stay in Miami.
I don't know that they could survive in other habitats. Miami's still got that very like island climate.
Yeah.
It's close enough to.
It's like the corner.
Yeah, I was about to say it's still close enough to the same biome. I hate to say biome, but biome. That they're used to.
Yeah, a normal thing to say.
Yeah, I know. Now I just think about Minecraft. But yeah, so it's still close enough. I know that they've been recorded a little bit more north and stuff like that, but after it reaches, I think, 40 degrees, they freeze. They literally go into hibernation. They just fall from the trees and shit.
I don't know how many news headlines I've read about, like, an old person was on a pool chair, like lounging out.
It just falls on
in November. And then it got 40 degrees, an iguana froze, it just fell on their head, and sent the old person, like, unconscious.
Yep.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah, they actually put, like, on the news now, they have, like, iguana freeze warning now.
Yep.
Just because they just fall out of trees and stuff. And they're fine. You just gotta thaw.
It's a legitimate thing. I saw one, like, 2 weeks ago. They were like, be careful of iguanas falling out of trees. My parents were like, what is going on anymore?
This is the world we live in.
So you got the iguanas in there, and then you got Ybor City, where the chickens are just isolated.
They're protected. They are literally protected. And what it was I was talking about someone about this on Facebook the other day. They are from Prohibition era. They were considered contraband, and they were actually kept in. Ybor has basements. People don't realize that. Ybor has contraband basements. It actually used to have tunnels, like underground tunnels that went from building to building for like speakeasies and stuff like that. And so chickens were contraband during Prohibition, and now they're considered historic. So they are actually protected. You are not allowed to mess with the chickens. It is a serious crime to mess with the chickens at Ybor.
It's weird because now you haven't been to the new house before today, but like I don't know if depending on the way that you took in there, if you took like the main neighborhood entrance, the one that we went out of, you didn't see them then. The other neighborhood entrance, which isn't even really an entrance, is just like an alley that goes into the back of the neighborhood where all the construction is. There's chickens all over the place.
It's Waimama. Have you not seen what happens in Waimama? You haven't seen like the morning markets and stuff?
Oh.
Where they're like on the side of the road, like holding rabbits by their ears or chickens upside down by their feet, which are alive, by the way. Like it's, you go past Sun City and you hit Waimama, it's like switching countries. It's a very different demographic over there.
It's funny because we got up, I think it was...
I think strong.
Whenever...
I think it's getting hazy in here. That thing's strong.
It'll probably be fine on the camera.
Yeah, but my eyes are starting to... That thing's strong.
No, but here, we can put it over there on the other table. Like across. We'll make Jordan get tortured by the smoke.
Just inhale it.
There. Oh, I have the trail of smoke.
I can see it on the camera.
Oh, that's great. That's funny.
Looks like I vape.
Now he's putting it up there. No, but we woke up on, when did I go to Salt Lake City? Sunday morning. And it was like 5:45. And I thought there were like 4 or 5 chickens in the area. But there's like, I don't know, there's got to be like 20 or 30 at least. Because it's 5:45 in the morning. We walk outside Because I'm not going to bring my car to the parking garage and pay who knows how much in the airport. So I have like a family member bring me to the airport whenever I go travel for work. So then we're like putting my bag in the car, and all we hear is like the roosters just going every literally, not exaggerating, every 2 seconds.
Yep.
I'm putting the bag in, and you hear one go, and then immediately another one, and it was just constant. I'm like, bro, I thought there were 3 or 4 roosters in this area.
It could be the same one on repeat.
70.
It could be the same one on repeat. It reaches
They
a
were
certain point in the
overlapping
morning.
each other.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, like my uncle had, I think, one
And
on his
different
property in
directions.
Georgia, or I think it was either him or his neighbor had one. And that, even with it being far out, you could hear it, and it's just like, it'd be in the morning, it's just like, shut up, please, just shut up.
Oh, you
Like-
saw there's nothing in my area other than construction. So when there's no construction going on, you'll hear a chicken that's 3 miles away.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's not a built-up area. Waimama is a very newly starting to build up. That's how Ruskin was when
That's
I
how
moved
Ruskin
down there.
still
Like
is.
it's still kind of it's getting pretty crowded.
Well, you guys moved there like 7-8 years ago.
Yeah,
and there's
2013.
and you still drive through there, and you're like, there's some stuff, but a lot of stuff is
College
still empty.
Avenue though, that road is so backed up anymore in the Ruskin area. I remember I used to be able to get to like
Oh, it's nothing compared to when we were like in the Valrico Brandon area.
oh yeah, no, that was horrible. That you wanted if you living in like Bloomingdale Valrico, it was 30 minutes to Bloomingdale Valrico. Like if you wanted to go down the street to the local Starbucks, good luck. It was
Oh,
going to take
yeah.
you forever to get there.
remember when it
All
took-
the one-way streets and stuff.
I remember at one point it took.
I think it's going.
It's so smoky in here that I can barely see the fact that is smoking still. That's funny. No, it got to the point where 10 years ago it would take 15 minutes to get from my house to the mall.
Yeah.
Now you go and it's like 32 minutes. I'm like,
Plus 32 plus at this point. It's
why?
yeah. No, it's one thing I will say about living where we do now. It's like it's easy to hop on the interstate and get to places like that, but it's Brandon and stuff is so overcrowded. I think the actual statistic for like Riverview, actually Florida in general, Florida had like, was it 550 plus thousand people a year moving here. And it's like, and Riverview was rated as one of the top up and coming cities. So
oh yeah,
most of them were moving to Riverview. And I'm like, this place sucks. Why would you want to be here? Like,
Yeah.
it's horrible over here.
I'm looking up how many people move to Florida each year. It says about 1,000 each day, which is not hard to believe.
It's more than that. I have no
Well,
doubt.
between April 2020 and April 2021, there was about 329,000 new residents, and that was like pandemic time.
Yeah, no, people were moving big time during
That
the
was not when
pandemic.
it was like. Well, people
Gets
were
killed
moving
by
more
allergies at
before.
this point.
We can blow it out.
You can't.
On the flip side,
Oh, Jesus.
A guy that I work
Oh, you
with
got
just
ash
liked,
all over
just
you.
accepted my friend request on Facebook and then liked 8 of my pictures.
creeper. Creeper? Who does that? It's not Instagram. It's like Instagram, somebody likes like 3 of your photos, you like 3 of them back. And then that's normal on Instagram.
Well, Instagram, you follow somebody and it'll show you. It's like TikTok. You follow somebody and it'll show you something that they posted 3 months ago.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
not-
like how Instagram's laid out.
It
anymore,
used to
honest with you.
be chronological, and now it's not anymore.
No, it's just they did the same thing to
Everything
Facebook.
changed. Did you blow
It's-
that out?
You can't blow it out, John. If you blow it out, if you blow
It fuels the fire.
Yeah, it's more oxygen.
Now, on the
You can
flip
try to
side,
blow it out.
I look forward to more of these because
Oh,
that
no,
thing
I get
is really great actually, and I'm actually pretty impressed by that. That's pretty cool.
That's a much better idea. Oh,
Look at it fill up.
We'll run out of oxygen eventually.
the problem is
Yeah, it would be great. This room
it
is just
smells
100 inches by
great.
100 inches.
I was about to say.
yeah. This room is literally like 8 feet, 8.5.
That's exactly
It's so
100
cool,
inches by
though.
100 inches.
But I will say, it reminds me kind of like church incense, which I love. I know a lot of people don't like church incense, but I love it.
Well, we grew up around.
yeah, we grew up around
so
it.
You kind of either absolutely hate it or you love it
Yeah.
because you're
Look at it
so
coming out
used
the
to it.
bottom. That's so cool. I don't think it's fully sealed because it's coming
Oh,
out.
it's not.
It's really cool though.
Okay.
It kind of looks cool though. It almost looks spider web-esque,
It's
doesn't
like
it? It's really cool.
It's
I noticed
it's
so
a
much.
possessed Taco Bell cup.
Go see that.
It's so smoky in here.
Yeah.
Holy Jesus,
Now, I will
man.
say, though, that,
If this
again,
was in the house, it would be fine.
props to that. I'm actually pretty impressed with it because of how well it burns. Like, I can't tell you how many times, like, one of the venues I worked at, Metro World, we used to burn incense when the room stunk because there was just countless sweaty people in there, and they had a hard time keeping up. That, though, God, that would have been a lifesaver during that
The
time.
funny
Like, I
thing
would
is,
have loved to have that.
I have a thing of, what, 8 of these?
Yeah.
So before we started recording, I was like, hey guys, pick one and we'll light it. And then Jordan was like, do one of each. Once one runs out, do the other one. Fuck no, not anymore. This room is so smoky,
We need
man.
better air.
This is
We need a
insane.
bigger room for that.
Because the thing is, like, when we say, like, this is a studio, this is literally a studio. It is a separate building, I guess. I wouldn't say it's like a building. It's a separate unit than
Unit.
the
Yeah, I would
rest
say
of the
unit.
house. Like, this is on
Hey.
a property, but it's not connected to a house at all.
This, you could charge $700 a month for this in Florida nowadays.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
not even joking. Like,
Oh, yeah.
but no,
Easily.
I'm really impressed with that thing. I like, it's strong. It's a nice little package, I guess is the best way to
They're
put it.
literally little tiny cones of, I think he said it's obviously whatever sawdust. He did 2 different types of wood. I forget what types of wood they are. I'll have to ask him, or they're probably on his website or something. And it's like sawdust from those mixed with like xanthan gum or some sort of binding agent.
I think it's actually pretty cool. I'm
Yeah.
actually pretty impressed
Which
by it.
it smells nothing like. The guy will be in the next guest episode. His name is Justin. So I'll have his website in that episode, not this one.
Definitely.
But if you ever get them, the cones smell like sawdust. When you light them, it doesn't smell anything like sawdust.
Yeah, no, they smell
Sawdust.
great when they're lit.
But that's a funny little setup there. No, but we went to what I was talking about at the beginning of when we started recording is that we went to Alaska for 9 days in October because it was the 17th and the 24th. I got there a day early, but that's because my flights were
Weird.
chaos. and
Yeah,
weird.
they were weird.
Well, because you guys had flights Sunday to Sunday, but Sunday's like the worst time for travel because everybody's trying to get somewhere for work. So when you're like me flying on standby, you're like, am I going to get a seat? So we looked
No.
2 days ahead of time, and I'm like, oh, there's -2 seats to my connection in Denver on Sunday.
-2.
I'm like, looks like I'm going to Denver tomorrow.
Yep. -2.
Yeah, so that was a fun time. It's always funny whenever I travel like last minute, because that's not really last minute. We schedule everything, but me finding my flights was very last minute. Another time when I had to fly last minute was when Jordan forgot that camera that's right there. He went to LA, bought it there, forgot it there. So I had to fly on standby like 2 days
Go
later.
get a camera.
Because he's like,
Where
do
do you
you have
leave
a
it?
day? What?
Where do you leave it?
In
Like-
a friend's car.
Oh, gotcha.
So then he was like, is there a day this week that you're not doing anything? And I'm like, I'm not busy tomorrow.
It's like, go!
So I was like, why? And he's like, can you go to LA? I'm like, whatever, I'll just
Why
go
not?
tomorrow then.
I was about to say, might as well, right?
Yeah, so whenever I tell somebody that I flew from Tampa to LA and back in the same
For a
day, they're
camera.
like, well, just for anything, they're like, are you insane? Because it's a 5-hour
It's a
flight
long
both
flight.
ways.
That's a long flight.
So it was really funny, and I was like, whatever, I don't really care. I got first class both ways, which is the funniest thing whenever I complain about it. Because I flew
Yeah.
standby, so then I got first class, and it's like 8 a.m. my flight, and they're like, would you like waffles? I'm like,
Yes.
Yes, I would.
Yes.
I don't want my little
Oh,
Cheez-Its
waffles?
and pretzels in a bag. I want
Don't what? No
waffles.
damn biscuit.
Yeah. So then they come out and they gave me like waffles and a fruit cup and something else. I forget what it was. And I had my orange juice with that. And then on the way back, they're like, would you like spaghetti and, what is it called? What is the red sauce called? Not like Presto or anything. It's the other one. I think it's
Like
with
just
an
like
R.
marinara sauce.
Well, yes, but there's a specific company. I was like, what the fuck is that? I don't
Does it
remember.
matter?
No, it was just funny
Marinara
because
sauce.
they didn't say like, would you like spaghetti with sauce or whatever. They brought up like the name, and I'm like, what? Like the brand name of it.
It's like rich person red
and then
sauce.
they're like, would you like grilled chicken and rice? And I was like, I think I'll go with grilled chicken and rice. So then I got grilled chicken and rice, and then they came by and they're like, "Would you like some prosecco with that?" I'm like, "Yes, I would."
Yes, I would.
I actually would. So
This is what it's like in first class.
yeah, it's all for free too.
I still don't know that it's worth it though.
Oh, I don't know.
I feel like that's not worth it.
I wasn't
still.
flying
It's like
standby.
you get a slightly bigger chair, and you get food.
I was in Washington.
That's not worth like 4 or 5 times the price plus. Like, that's
Um,
not it.
No, I was in Washington, D.C. last week, and for my flight back here, the upgrade cost, well, my company paid for like my flight ticket and everything, so I wasn't really like losing a ton of money, and they reimbursed me if I do like seat upgrades or anything like that.
Yeah.
So the seat upgrade to first class was $140, which I was like,
That's not bad.
I was like, that's worth it because it was a 787-800, so it's the one where that you guys took either to Alaska or back. Where
that
it was
the really
like 2
big one?
seats, 3 in the middle, and then 2 seats again.
That's
So
it.
when you're in first class on that thing, your seat goes completely flat.
It's bigger, yeah.
And you have your own, like, it's like a whole cubicle.
That was
literally.
the flight back.
So I was like, I'm gonna buy that seat upgrade, and I was pissed because they didn't give me food. The flight wasn't long enough for food, but I didn't know
Flight's
that.
always long enough for food.
Well, apparently for them it wasn't. So then I'm in first class, and all they gave me was a little bag of pretzels. So I was a little upset. So then I an hour and a half into the like 2 hour and 20-minute flight, I was like, I'm not getting food.
Nope.
Fuck this.
Nope.
Then I laid my seat completely flat, and I just rolled over and went to sleep.
No, I will say the flight back from Alaska when we were on that big ass plane, there was we were towards the back and there was nobody back there, and it was so nice
none of our
because
flights
like
to or from Alaska really had anybody.
It
I
was-
got fucked in Denver, but that's completely different.
yay, good job, you're not virgin anymore.
What? Oh. I was like, what did you say?
No, so anyway, but yeah, no, the flight back from Alaska was great because it was like there was nobody in the back of that plane, and it got to the point where my brother was next to me, and there was just empty rows like for the rest of the way back, and so we just asleep. We just went across multiple rows at that point. It didn't matter, like nobody was back there.
Yeah.
And props to the one mother on the plane with like 3 or 4 kids, and she kept them like dead silent because before the plane taking off, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a really long flight because
Yeah.
it was all the way back. It wasn't like, oh, we're going to Seattle and then we're going back to Tampa, because that's what we did the first time was Tampa.
Wasn't it like
Tampa
wasn't
to
it like Anchorage
Seattle?
to Atlanta? Was your flight?
Yeah,
back?
the flight back was like Anchorage to Atlanta. And I'm like, before that was like, what was it? Tampa to Seattle, I think is what we did. I think, yeah, Tampa to Seattle. And then from Seattle to Anchorage. So we switched. But this one was like straight back almost. So the really long flight. And these kids are screaming before the plane goes off. And I'm like, I don't know that I can do this for like 6-7 hours. Like, this is going to be a really long flight. Flight took off. She had those kids out like a light.
Shut the fuck up, man.
No, those kids were quiet. There was a couple times when they got loud, but she handled it so well, so quickly. Like, props to that mother. That was difficult, and she pulled that off big time. So it's still going.
No, it's dead now. That was just all the smoke coming out from
Okay.
underneath the cup.
Chalk hand.
No, it was so. That's how it was. Kinda. No, empty flights are so nice. Because I on the way to Alaska, I had a flight from here to Denver and then Denver to Anchorage. So, on the way from here to Denver, I'm pretty sure it was like there was nobody next to me. So I laid down on the seats next to me because the flight attendants, as long as you have your seatbelt on, they
They
do
don't
not
care. Yeah.
So you can lay completely silent.
I don't think they can enforce anything else. It's like, it's on.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's why it annoys me when like they're like, "Oh, make sure your seat back is upright." I'm like, "Bro, I reclined it this much because I have a bad back, and the way that it's like this
it's
is
horrible.
very
me too.
uncomfortable." So I'm like, "Oh,
That's why I'm
literally,
leaning
I'm
now.
not one of those assholes that's like, I'm gonna take up all the space of the guy behind me. I'm not like this. I usually just do it like if this is perfectly upright, I literally push the button, so I'm like that, like barely.
Yeah, just slight. It helps. It helps.
And then they're like, at the end of the flight, they're like, "I need you to make it completely straight." And I'm like, "It's half an inch, lady." But I'm like, whatever. There's only 20 minutes left. In this flight. Half an inch matters, bro.
I wasn't gonna say anything. Then Jordan started. I'm sorry. Oh, I wasn't gonna say that. I was
said-
gonna let it go.
No, it's funny because whenever somebody asks me how tall I am, I'm like, I'm 5'8.5". The fucking half an inch matters.
That was my mom. My mom was 5'4". Now she's like, then she was like 5'3 3/4, and then she's like 5'3.5" now, and she's shrinking. But she always makes sure it's like you gotta have the fraction in there. It makes a difference.
Oh
like,
yeah, it does. No, I remember one time Jordan and Nick were around, and I was like, listen, I'm 5'8.5", so technically, if you round up, because we were always taught in school 0.5, you round up to the next whole number. So technically, I'm 5'9", but then I'm above halfway through 5 foot. So technically, I can be 6 foot. So I'm 6 foot.
I don't think that's how that works. You're gonna be on Tinder like 6 foot tall if you round up. I don't think they're gonna care. I don't. You might get a lot of messages just like, what do you mean if you round up? Round up from what?
I'm gonna change my Tinder bio right now.
Yeah, what is? You're gonna go 5 foot, or are you gonna go 6 foot if you round up?
Yeah.
I want to know how that goes actually.
I'm gonna get rid of everything in my bio, which isn't very much. It's like 2 lines.
It's probably a bad bio.
I'm 6 foot if you round up.
I fixed so many people's Tinder bios. It's not even funny. Like I kid you not. I fixed multiple friends' bios, and they started getting matches significantly faster. And I'm like, bro, because you look like a psychopath.
Yeah.
Like you're not smiling in any of your photos. All of these photos look like you're a maniac.
No, like just I'm 6 foot if you round up.
I'm curious to see how it goes.
Well, no,
like,
I'm not saying it's good or not. I'm just saying that's
Let me
what
see
I
your
changed
photos.
it to. We're not doing this.
No,
right
I want to see. I want to see.
We'll do it later.
Nah.
Jesus.
No time like the present.
My phone's about to die.
It's still alive right now.
There you go. I didn't actually pick the photos.
Let's hit preview.
Time to light another one.
Yeah, to be fair, it's not actually bad because you don't have an overabundance of photos.
I literally have.
You have 4 photos, and they're all good photos that pretty clearly show what you look like and stuff. Your first photo is the best photo. It's the eye catcher photo. You have yourself listed as Berklee College of Music.
Yes.
Did you go to Berklee?
Yes, and I still take online classes.
I had no idea that you went to Berklee at all.
I still take classes through Berklee, just not as many as I did before.
Let's see. No, once you got the Instagram photos up. Typical Mustang photos.
Man, this is so fucking old.
You're gonna like split 50-50 based off.
I'm literally gonna
Mustang
remove my
photos.
fucking Instagram photos because of that.
Yeah, but the one thing I will say is, you got 4 good photos. The rest of your profile is just.
Oh yeah, there's nothing.
There's just nothing there.
There's nothing
There's just
on my
nothing
profile. It's literally just I'm 6 foot if you round up.
You have to. I mean, but that could cause engagements. To be fair, because you have to have a sense of humor in your bio for it to do anything.
Like this is a good example. This girl that shows up. I have my thing set to Minneapolis because I'm going to Minneapolis on Monday. So yes, I paid for Tinder Gold.
I did too. I had platinum at one point. I had platinum.
It's okay.
100% worth it.
It's okay.
100%.
So does Nick. Okay.
I'm not going into that. I got so many questions right now, but I'm not going into it.
Did, does, I don't know. No, like this. This is my theory, is she doesn't have a fucking bio. She just has her, like, just a bunch of pictures. So I'm like, well, at least I have at least one line.
Yeah, but the way that guys swipe on girls versus the way girls swipe on guys is different.
I'm also not going to bitch about it. There's plenty of guys that will be like, I like people all day on Tinder. Why don't they like me back? Like,
yeah,
I literally do not give a fuck.
Agreed. But it does make a difference because girls read bios.
Man, it's already smoky as fuck.
Guys do not read bios.
Oh no,
guys just go
guys
all day, and
they're like
they just swipe away. Like they're going like this.
It's Jordan. It's almost all the way gone. We might as well just burn it to the fucking ground.
I can't breathe.
It won't even light because it's mostly ash. We're gonna turn the bitch up. Oh my god, it's hot.
It's hot in here. Like
And Jordan can crack the door.
But no, yeah, guys just swipe away like it's nothing. They're like, I don't know why I don't get any candid matches. Because, bro, you didn't read anything. You just kept swiping like it was nothing. It didn't mean anything to you. Like,
is that on low? God,
it's hot in here, bro. I'm sweating. Like, it's hot as shit.
We could take a pee break and let it smoke out in here.
My eyes are burning, so it's probably a good idea because it's
not a stopping point because we got plenty of stuff to talk about, and we can work on my Tinder while we're on a break. But I also have
the Tinder's better to do during because
we'll
we can give advice to our show.
Then we'll do it during, but we'll take a pee break. So if I have a sponsorship by the time this episode comes out, you'll hear that now. If we don't, then we'll be back in about 3 seconds.
All right.
Okay, so we're back from our pee break, or whatever you want to call it.
Air break.
Smoke break.
Air break.
A different kind of smoke break, not the cigarette smoking break, but like this 10 foot by 10 foot, or not 10 foot, 8 foot. This 100-inch by 100-inch studio was filled with smoke. So
some strong ass incense.
Yeah, it's probably like perceivable on the cameras, like the difference. But
it looked like we were hotboxing.
Oh, a little bit.
It probably looked like we were hotboxing it.
What I did want to talk about though is how you were talking about how you didn't want to die with the whole Alaska thing because we spent time in Anchorage and Fairbanks when we went in October, and it was great. The first full day, everybody loved it. I was like, this is the best day of my life because in one day we saw like Anchorage, which is nothing.
There's nothing in Anchorage at all.
It looks worse than Tampa does.
There's more homeless people too.
The funniest thing about Anchorage was that I was walking the day that I got there. I haven't had a birthday since then, so I was 21 then too. So I was under 25, so I was like, I'm not gonna pay for a fucking rental car. I'll wait until Jordan gets here with the rental car. So then I'm walking around Anchorage,
for a day.
like walking to like McDonald's or something, and then there's a cop car on bricks because somebody stole their fucking wheels.
A cop car?
Yes.
I didn't know about that.
God, it was an undercover cop car in bricks, and I knew it was an undercover cop car because I saw the lights and I saw the little like light thing that goes on.
That's
the side.
wild.
So I was like, man, these people don't give a fuck.
Alaska is wild. Like there's
like
children with guns out there.
It felt like we were in a different country.
Oh yeah, no, it's a whole nother world. Like you almost go back to Wild West.
Anchorage was fine. That just felt completely normal.
To an extent.
Kind of like a rundown city.
It's a pretty rundown city.
Yeah.
Their super mall was horrible.
You go like 40 minutes north of that fucking super mall that Jordan left us at for half an hour because he wanted snow pants at a different goddamn store.
No, that was REI. I'm talking about, remember the very large square that went upwards and it was just like it just like open in the center and it was just a big mall. It was horrible. There was like
the weird store at the bottom. Of the
it had the weird bottom store that was like underground kind of, and it was like a security guard down there. It's like, bro, nobody's even going down. It's like going into a pit.
And there's like a bunch of stores down there, but they were all shut down.
Yeah, it was weird, and the food court looked way outdated.
We literally
and stuff.
spent like 25 minutes there, and it wasn't even going into any stores. It was just walking around, and then we were like, "There's nothing here."
There's nothing there. It was wild. Yeah.
So there was Anchorage, which was just not a fun time. If you live in Anchorage, all offense towards you. So then you go like 40 minutes of Anchorage, and everything changes.
Oh yeah.
We're going through there. I've mentioned this a couple times on other episodes in passing, but like you drive through Alaska, depending on the time of year, you won't see anybody. We saw like the same 4Runner 3 days in a row.
Most of the trip.
They were the only people that we saw the entire time when we were driving to like Chena Hot Springs, Fairbanks, all this other stuff. But the first full day that we were there, because I got there Saturday afternoon, like 3, 4 o'clock-ish.
Somehow survived.
Yeah, it was fine. So then the next day, they all arrived at like 9 p.m. Got to the cabin that we were staying in at like 9. So then we, that wasn't really our first full day because that was when they got there. It was Sunday night. So then Monday morning we woke up at like 7 or something like that. And then that was the day that we were supposed to go to Fairbanks. So we drove we drove 3 hours to Talkeetna, which is a little town at the base of Denali. And Jordan was like, "Can I get some snow pants here?" And this little old lady was like, "No, but you can get them at Walmart. The nearest Walmart is 4 hours away in Fairbanks." So that was a fun
Yeah.
time by itself. I was like, damn, Jordan, when I told you should have gotten cold weather clothes, you should have gotten them ahead of time. So then we didn't get anything well, I think Jordan got some souvenir thing in Talkeetna. I don't know what it was, but you got something. Ornaments.
Yeah, that's right.
So then they had like really cool knives. I was like, wow, if I felt like blowing $700 on a Alaskan knife, I would have gotten one.
That probably wasn't actually Alaska. There were so many things in that store that were like China,
but
like honestly,
nothing,
in the middle of nowhere, Alaska.
A lot of those were, but like I realized that like some things are made in China, but a lot of things, even in that store, were still like made somewhere in Alaska because nothing ships there.
Yeah.
Because when we went to Alyeska, that sushi restaurant in Alyeska, and me and DJ had that coffee grain whiskey,
That was good.
I looked online and I was like, can I buy this? And Amazon doesn't ship to Alaska. Like nothing ships
It's hard to
Alaska.
get stuff out there. It's very hard. It's hard to get anything out there.
The problem is that like, that whiskey was on one website and it shipped to Alaska. It was the only state that it ships to because it's from Japan. And they don't ship to any other place.
Weird.
Or at least maybe their like operations are like lower so that they only ship to like
It's closer.
kind of closer places.
I was gonna say it's closer.
So they shipped to Alaska, but I was like, can I get this shipped to Florida? It was a $65 bottle, but I was like, can I get this
It's gotta
shipped to
worth
Florida? Because it was good.
That's what I say. This is kind of worth 65. I thought you were gonna say it was $65 shipping. I was like,
Oh no, it was a $65 bottle.
that's not.
But
bad.
then they said
That's
that they don't
actually
ship to Florida, and I'm like, damn. No, but then we drove the 4 hours to 3 or 4 hours to Fairbanks. Did we do anything in Fairbanks? We went to Walmart.
Went to Walmart. I think
all-
that's the only thing we did in Fairbanks, which is sad because Fairbanks is beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
it's the most modern town in Alaska. Like that's not. It's a college town, so it's actually pretty nice. Why didn't we spend more time in Fairbanks?
We'll do it again. That's probably what
Then we went to
do.
China.
Yeah, we drove an extra hour. Not we. Jordan drove an extra hour, so he drove 7 hours that day. It was
That there was
miserable.
nothing in China. It's literally.
There was no cell phone service.
It's literally just the hot spring resort.
It's literally
That's it.
nothing for like 40 miles.
Yeah, it's just
Maybe
just
more
the
than
hot
that,
spring resort.
Because there's
and
only
that's
one
it.
road that goes there, and there's not really a speed limit on that road.
You just go.
So you just go.
Not that anybody's enforcing it. You'll see a cop every once a
Once every
month.
4 days.
Yeah, like every couple days.
So it's just one road that goes there, and then it's literally just the hot springs that they've turned into a tourist attraction. And it's
Best
like,
hot springs ever.
yeah, if you
It's
don't
beautiful.
know, a hot springs is like basically a hot tub, but instead of being powered by like bubbles and electricity, it's powered by an active volcano underneath
By
you.
volcano bubbles.
Yeah. So we're just chilling in China. Okay.
We were.
So then we were there, and when we got there, on the way there, I lost cell phone service. I'm like, I wonder if we're gonna get it back there.
Got Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
We got Wi-Fi.
Well, the problem with that is that their Wi-Fi was so slow.
And it was
Which you
spotty.
can't really complain too much because like you're in the middle of nowhere.
It was nothing
You are
up there.
literally-
Like it was.
If you look up Chino Hot Springs on a map, it is like almost central Alaska.
They had so much to do at that resort that we didn't do.
Yeah.
They had like
They
this
had an ice
list.
museum.
Yeah, they had
We
an
had
ice museum because I saw that come up on like a suggestion one time online. It's like, oh, things to do. I'm like, why didn't we do this? And then I see it's like Chino Hot Springs Resort. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why didn't we go? Like we were there.
We got there at 7. We got some sort of like salmon pasta or something. I forget what the actual.
We all
menu
got
was.
different things.
No, most of us got the salmon pasta. You and Nick might have gotten something different.
I got salmon pasta, DJ got salmon pasta, and you got salmon pasta.
I don't remember what I got.
I forget what the actual name
Best
of it was,
pasta
but
I've
yeah,
ever had.
yeah, me too. So it was great. I was like, this is amazing, which figures because salmon comes from there.
Oh, pro tip: every meal in Alaska is going to cost you like $30 plus, unless you're going to McDonald's, and that's if you can find a McDonald's. Everything else is ridiculously expensive.
There's a Denali burger at McDonald's.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's right. That's
Alaska
right. They had
literally
the
has a
Denali
special
burger.
burger. It's the Denali burger.
Yeah, I forgot
for
about that.
For Mount Denali, which used to be called Mount McKinley, but then it was originally Denali because that's like the Native American name for the mountain. Then it was changed to McKinley. I think the dude's name is William McKinley,
I have no
the
idea.
old president. And then it got changed back to Denali
As it should be.
like 5 years ago.
As it should be.
So fairly recently. And then, no, but most of the food that we had in Alaska was pretty good.
It was good. Everything was good out there. I still rate New Orleans food like
Well, I haven't been there.
way up there. Oh, I don't like seafood very much. But once I went to New Orleans, I started eating seafood. I never used to eat seafood otherwise. And the best thing I've ever eaten, like one of the top things that I've ever tasted, was blackened salmon from a restaurant in New Orleans. And it was like one of the top 3 restaurants, and it changed everything for me. On the flip side, I can't have bad seafood because I'll still be like, but I didn't like seafood at all before, and now I do. So it's,
Made you appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. New Orleans is a whole new world. I loved New Orleans as well. That's the other place I'd go back. 2 completely different worlds between. I mean, you think of Alaska,
they're direct opposite,
and then you think of New Orleans. I mean, Bourbon Street was all noise. It's just constant noise. Ton of fun. Everybody was so nice out there. But like that was just like constant. And then you go to Alaska, and it's just, I don't think people understand what true silence is. I've tried to have that conversation with multiple people. They're like, well, it was quiet where I was when I grew up. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. I'm like, you don't understand. Like, no,
it's crazy because like, I'm gonna sound like every other tourist when I say this, which is fine, because people have said that like when people visit Alaska, then they want to move there.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't really want to move there. I'd be fine with like a summer
vacation
house
home.
Alaska.
Yeah, vacation home.
There's so many natural disasters and so much other stuff that goes on there, and
there's
it's
a lot of
expensive
earthquakes
because there's
apparently.
not much around there, and there's all sorts of stuff. But I've traveled to 26 states now, and Alaska is my favorite place to go now.
I agree with that.
I would go there pretty much any time that I'm available to.
Because you figure I flew to Colorado and then went south through New Mexico into Texas and, drove the rest of the way back and stuff like that. And none of it compares at all. Like, it is drastically different. And it's, like I said, the hardest part for me coming back from Alaska was going from silence in areas, and I'm talking it's just, there is nothing. And then you come back to Tampa and it's just noise everywhere.
I about lost it for like the first week because I had migraines. What the fuck is this traffic, man? I was like, this is bullshit. I'm like, people don't know how to live. Because we were in Alaska for a week, and that is, we weren't just like, doing whatever we want. We were up from like 7 in the morning.
I almost risked everything and didn't come back.
What?
Said almost risked everything and just didn't come back.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
We spent all day just doing Alaska stuff. So like, I loved being there. But then, the funny thing was like after the first full day that we spent there, everybody was like, "Thank God we put me in charge," because DJ was like, "This is the best day I've ever had. Thank you for playing all this shit."
It was
and
a
Nick
good
was
trip.
like, "This was so nice." And Nick rarely ever will compliment fucking anybody, and he was like, "This is great."
It was a good trip.
He's like, "I'm gonna sit in these hot springs all night." I'm like, "Whatever you want to do, man. If you want to walk back in that hotel room smelling like sulfur, do you? You do you. As long as you're happy."
I miss those hot springs so much. Like, honest to God, I miss those hot springs. Like, it's. Like I said, I see people go out and they go to they go out of the country or they go to more northern states and they're like, oh, you're sitting in a hot tub in a snowy area. I'm like, it is a very different experience from being in a hot tub, like a man-made hot tub in snow, versus being in a natural hot spring
and then you had,
in the middle of nowhere, Alaska.
And then you had like the edges of it where like, when it's towards the middle, then the water isn't coming out of like the cracks on the edge. So the water kind of regulated itself with people's body's temperatures. So it would stay like 90 to 105 degrees. You'd go on the edge and you're like,
some of the rocks over there were like,
fucking burning. So
turned into a lizard. Just
oh yeah, it was great. And then it was really funny because then Jordan would be like, John, come over here, feel how hot this is. I'm like, okay. And I would just stare at him like, what's the problem?
Not that bad. It's not bad.
And then I have pictures of when I would get out of the 100-degree water into the 0-degree weather.
Ice.
And my hair was frozen, but I would sit on the frozen rock.
Yeah.
And people were like, how are you doing this? Well, Nick thought it was nothing. And Jordan thought it was like kind of okay. And then Nick got on the rock and he's like, what the fuck, man? How do you not have frostbite? I was like, I'm pretty sure I have frostbite on my arm, but I'll survive. Got to risk it for the picture.
Yeah, risk it for the picture.
But in one day we went from Anchorage. Jordan was miserable because he drove for 7 hours.
Why did we let Jordan drive the entire time? I feel bad about that. I'm sorry, Jordan.
I don't feel bad because DJ was like, hey, Jordan, you want to change drivers? You want me to drive? You want to change drivers?
He did.
I'll drive for you. And Jordan was like, no, I got it.
Jordan wanted to drive, to be fair.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the trip, he started to drive less. I think he was sick of it towards the end. To be fair, I definitely think he was sick of it towards the end. But no, that I think the most difficult. There was two things that were very difficult on that trip. The first was getting into the hot springs.
Oh my
because
god.
Because they make you get in your bathing suit.
You got to take a shower.
You have to take a shower.
Yeah.
And then you have to go through an outdoor tunnel in 0-degree weather, soaking wet, to get into the hot springs.
It's so cold in this tunnel. It's 0 degrees and it's 0 degrees outside. Then this tunnel's enclosed, so it's colder.
Yeah, but it's not. It's enclosed, but it's up top. It's still open, so it's not like it's air treated or anything. It's just like a covered walkway with slight walls.
It's glass on the sides and then rails with icicles. There's icicles on the rails.
Yeah.
So that was
the most.
Oh, that was torture.
Getting into the water is the most miserable experience. But once you're in the water, you're like, oh my god!
You take one step into the water and you're like, okay, can I?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah.
No, but in one day we went from Anchorage, which was not that impressive. It was cool, I guess, to see. But the better thing was like the pictures. Like the pictures don't even show like how big that mountain is. Because when you're driving on Denali Highway going up to the mountain, it's literally called Denali Highway because there's Alaska State Highway and different sections of it are based off of what's around you. Mm-hmm. So you got the highway and then you're right in the middle and you see the big ass mountain in front of you. So then at one point we had to drive through the mountains, and we had no cell phone service for probably 2 or 3 hours because we had like planes on our side and then like just the mountain.
Yeah.
There was just, and you'd see the mountains in the distance. It was funny because like we're there in October. Everybody told us
no snow. There's not going to be any snow.
This isn't winter. You could not tell the difference between the snowy mountains and the clouds sometimes. Yeah. In the distance.
Yeah, I hated that. The fact that we're like, oh, let's go. We're going to try to go snowboarding. All the resorts and all the places are like, oh, it's going to be October. There's not going to be snow. We get there and there's whole sections that are just snow.
We get there and it's 5 degrees. We saw an avalanche.
We did, yeah, we did actually.
That was interesting.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was snowing for almost the whole time.
Yeah.
Until like the last day, and then the snow started melting. So that was annoying because like the snow was pretty deep too.
We went up on that one mountain. It's like the snow is so stacked high.
We couldn't drive.
Yeah, there was areas we couldn't get up, and then you figure the little mining town.
We were in a front wheel drive Toyota Sienna, so we weren't really going through the snow anyways. But like. When we couldn't go uphill anymore because the snow was there, we started sliding backwards. We're like,
so we went to go on the glacier tour and everybody sliding down the hill.
Yeah, we almost hit that.
And I found free sunglasses.
Oh yeah.
Ray-Bans too. Like that was cool. I still have those Ray-Bans.
Yeah. No, it was.
It's been cool to have those.
Oh yeah. No, we were dealing with that shitty Canon camera. Cody's old Rebel T3.
Yeah, but I mean, you figure though, when we were out and going to that little like mining town that was way up there, and they're like, "Oh, there's not going to be any snow," and then the snow that you're walking on, you're like, "Oh, hey, there's a plant here," and it's like the top of a tree, like, and it's like,
no, we were literally like we have pictures somewhere of it, but like the snow was taller than us.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
To the point where we tried to climb up it, and we would just walk into a snowbank.
And the most the wildest thing.
What?
It was like twice as tall as we were.
Oh yeah, that bank was.
And then you take one step. Like most of the snow was. Once you got on top of the bank, you take some steps and it would be like solid, but then you take another one and you go down 3 feet. It's like what the hell, man.
Yeah, and then if you get the wildest thing, actually couple wildest things. The 3 most unexpected motherfuckers you'd ever see in Alaska. A Miata towards the top of the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
Like a 90s Miata towards the top of the mountain. Never expected that. Don't know how he got that up there. We're just standing up there, minivan struggling in this old 90s Miata. Like right up. We're like, how, bro?
Oh, and
mosquitoes.
He was flashing.
Oh yeah, he was doing the little lights. He was doing the lights. Yeah. Mosquitoes. The top of a fucking mountain.
That was the only place
covered in snow. And you're like,
the only place we saw mosquitoes the whole week.
Mosquitoes. Tops of the mountains, like way up there. The same place that has snow that's like ungodly deep. Mosquitoes.
Yeah.
In Alaska. I never would have guessed. And the 3rd most unexpected motherfucker, you would never guess this. Sandhill cranes.
Oh yeah.
They have sandhill cranes in fucking Alaska.
I thought.
I thought we were going crazy because we walked up to that board at that one park, and they're like, "Look out for sandhill cranes." So you're like,
huh?
You're like, "There's no way we're talking about the same bird." 100% sandhill cranes, and I'm like, "There's no way." I never would have guessed. Like, you can't escape them. They're just there. When two places you'll see sandhill cranes: Florida.
It's nighttime.
Oh,
the lights are gonna switch.
I'm like, Florida and Alaska, and I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it at all, to be honest with you. Oh no, I'm just going to die.
Is this like turned on? Did the bulb break, or is it just switching? It might take a bit to switch.
I don't know, but I was like, there's no way. Like, there's no way this is the same bird. And then the time that we made a very, very serious trip to try and go into a glacier.
Oh yeah.
And that was
Jordan and Nick stayed in the car, but myself, DJ, and Dom went to. It was Exit Glacier, and it was funny because the day before
we went on a glacier hike.
We went to Matanuska Glacier, and they were saying, if there's a cliff, don't stand under it, because like since these things shift,
the next day we're like, glacier.
You'll just have a bunch of ice falling you. There'll be pictures standing under it.
Pictures underneath the glacier.
But we were walking through like rushing water.
It was like Lord of the Rings type hike. Like, it was like we were going to Mount Doom.
If it was any other, we've talked about this. If it was any time of the year, we would have seen bears in there.
It was. I mean, you figure we walked a couple miles on like rocks. I'm talking like rocks like this big plus, and then crossing like rapids and like small rapids in certain areas, but you don't want to get wet. So it was like, what?
So the switch was off. The bulb
Yeah, somebody turned the switch off on the nighttime lamp.
Oh, but yeah. So I mean, you're talking like rapids in some area that we're trying to get across because we don't want to get soaked, and some of which we're pretty deep in certain areas. But like all to get to go inside a glacier. But I mean, you figure the area we were walking through was just open on every single side, and we're just walking through the smack middle of it. If a bear had come out, we were fucked. Oh, yeah. If a moose came out, we were fucked. Like, it did not matter if there was a mountain lion came out, we were fucked. Like, there was so many things that could have gone wrong that didn't go wrong, and it was incredible. But like, it's like walking to Mount Doom. Like how open the area was, it just rocks.
Yeah, that's why we were talking about on the way here. That's why you're kind of hesitant about going to the Kobuk sand dunes. It is the largest largest northern active sand dunes in the world.
Sand dunes in Alaska. I never would have expected in a million years. I don't want to die at the sand dunes of Alaska.
They look really cool because it's
sand dunes with pine trees.
Yeah, sand dunes with alpine trees surrounded by mountains. So it's literally a desert surrounded by mountains.
It's a bad
Snowy
Minecraft
mountains.
biome all around. It's literally just a bad generated Minecraft biome. Like, it's wild. But I still don't get it. But yeah,
I'd like
not
to.
going to die. Sorry.
No, I'd like to do it. You have to do it in the right time because I'm not trying to freeze to death in negative 40-degree weather, first of all. If you do it in like July, August, you'll see caribou, but that's not when the bears are migrating. They migrate in like September, October.
Don't want to go to a bear migration, especially not
because they're not black bears. Black bears will run away from you.
Black bars.
Yeah, black bars will run away from you. Brown bears won't.
Yeah,
those are grizzly bears.
Yeah, that was another thing that always made me laugh was like the directions on how to survive a bear attack or what to do in case. And they'd have one for black bears and one for the grizzly bears. And the one for black bears are just like act like you're big and you get them to run away, stuff like that. And then
bears are like, oh, just yell at them.
Yeah, and then grizzly bears are like, just cover your neck, and then if they don't go away after a couple minutes, try to fight back. And it's like,
yep.
So you want me to not bite until I'm at like 2 HP left?
Yeah.
You want to wait till I'm like gaping wounds about to die to fight back? Motherfucker, I'm not going to try and die first and see if it's going to... I'm not risking that.
That's why I was like, if we go to these sand dunes, I'm like, bring a gun.
Oh, yeah, no, we'd have to... I don't know if they do gun rentals. I'm sure they do gun rentals or something, but it's like...
I mean, you can travel with guns, too. You just got to do the whole like process of declaring it and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's like... It's absolutely just wild though, the way that they're like, oh, just duck and cover your neck
People in
and
Alaska
hope you
live wildly different than
survive.
everybody else, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you're talking about the same place that you can go to just like a random walking trail, like a park that children are walking around at, and a guy's just shooting off shotgun trying to.
Oh yeah, the fucking guy that was shooting at the
fucking
goddamn
ducks.
ducks.
Yeah, it's like.
No, but to get before we drift too far from it, what I was gonna say about the first full day that we were there is we drove through the mountains, did the hot springs, and saw northern lights all in one day.
That was great.
Anyways, so we went to there's I think like Reflection Pond, which is in the mountain area, and then there's like Reflection Lake, or the other way
It
around.
was one of the two.
We were at one of them, and it was not in Denali. It was like north of Fairbanks. It was like Eagle River area.
Yeah.
Or not Fairbanks, Anchorage. It was like 30 minutes from the Airbnb that we were staying at, and we were walking around. It was 4 of us, because Nick was somewhere in that
Somewhere,
area.
yeah. And he was walking off.
Nobody even knows what he was doing, but we heard a duck call, and then DJ was like, "Your duck call."
That was me.
Oh, that was you?
like it's fake as fuck.
Oh, I thought that was DJ.
Yeah, DJ's the one who seconded it. He's like, yeah, you're right, that is fake as fuck. The guy's like, damn right it is. And we're like, bro, where are you? Like, no one even knew where he was. And then we're just like, okay, that's cool. And he's got the fake little ducks and stuff. And I'm like, the ducks are lagging because they're just like flying in place. And then we just start walking down the trail. We're just walking and just blah, blah, blah. We're just like,
it was like 20 minutes, so we completely forgot about it.
Yeah, completely forgot he was there. Yeah.
And then you hear a bunch of gunshots, and I'm like, oh shit. And then it said, like, we saw a sign like 2 minutes later that said, like, no hunting.
Yeah, I know. It's not even a lot. But who's going to stop him?
Yeah.
Who's going to stop him? You're going to call the cops. He's going to be gone for 3 days already.
Yeah.
By the time they get there.
The entire time we were there. It was one Alaska State Trooper. I never saw any else.
I think we saw a couple when we went on the exit glacier hike. We saw like the two cops
they
that
were sitting in the parking lot
yeah,
doing something.
Yeah, they were being weird, suspicious.
They didn't bother us at all.
No, they don't do anything.
They were just sitting like at the entrance of the building, which was shut down because everything in Alaska shuts down in like September until March.
Yeah,
Literally.
sometimes April.
Yeah, so like that place was shut down, but cops were like seeing what was going on.
Yeah.
So maybe somebody tried to break in, or who knows what tried to happen. Not like they could get anything from just a fucking park service post.
Not gonna get anything from that.
But there was 2 cops there that were both like doing something with the
That's
building.
just chilling.
Yeah. So then we were just like, we didn't pay any attention to them. We just walked right past them, went into the park, and it was like, 30-minute hike to the base of the glacier, an hour hike up to the glacier, and we're like, no, we're not taking either one. We took like half of the 30-minute one, and then we were like,
went down into the river.
I was like, there's gonna be good pictures down here. So the DJ grabs his stick and he's like, okay, we're going down.
we all had sticks for that one. It was
one.
good. We did actually. It was the sticks are lifesavers trying to cross some of the rivers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because those stones were very slippery.
Yeah, it was nice to have that.
And they were
extra
wobbling.
leg. Yeah.
Symmetry.
If we did not have
Timotry.
those
That's
sticks,
right. Timotry. That's right. We named it.
Yeah.
Timotry.
If we didn't have those sticks, Jordan and Nick would have never heard back from us.
No, we would have.
We were gone for like 2 hours.
We probably would have come back, but we would have come back soaked and miserable, and our
One of us
ankles
would have
broken
had like a
or
broken
something.
leg. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really rough hike, honestly.
It was
and it started to rain when we were getting close to the glacier, and luckily it didn't downpour. It just like lightly rained while we were walking back too. But it's like that was a long hike, and then it started raining. It's
At
like,
one point,
so
my
we're gonna
foot
die.
slipped, and my whole foot went into like -degree water. And I was like, "Oh God, this is miserable." Because then I was walking back in like wet socks and everything. Because I had hiking boots, so like my boots were like this high, like halfway up my shin. My foot went all the way down, almost into my
submerged.
knee. I
Yeah.
was soaked.
Yeah.
Like my leg was soaked.
That was a miserable hike. 100% worth it.
Oh yeah,
100% worth
pictures
it.
now.
Yeah, there's nothing like that. Being able to be like in a glacier, like underneath like that was cool as hell.
And then we started
Extremely
hearing it
dangerous.
like shift. Like
We were like,
it
"Yep, we're
hurt
getting
some
out."
cracks. We were standing underneath it. Then we
Yeah,
heard
but
the crack.
when we got close enough, we're like, no more than 5 minutes in and out. Like we obeyed
and
that.
we took
Like
flashlights to try to show underneath the glacier, and you couldn't see anything.
yeah, it's just pitch
5
black.
feet in front of you, it would just
Yeah,
be
it was
pitch black.
yeah, it was wild.
It's like,
It was so cool.
oh my God.
It was so cool.
Oh yeah.
100%
And then,
worth it.
I think it was when I was on the way to LA to get Jordan's camera. For some reason, it came into my head of like the Mountain News glacier that we got. Somehow these people privately own an entire glacier.
Glacier.
What happens if that glacier like shifts into a city? Do they just own half that city now?
No.
I don't know how that works, but I'd imagine so.
Yeah, it moves 20 feet every year, but they still own the
It's got to be a long time before it reaches the city.
Well, apparently it was like it reached Anchorage.
Yeah, they said it
2,000 years
went
ago.
like way back when.
Some bullshit on that.
He has doubted that ever since he has heard. He's like, there's no
3-hour
way.
drive, yeah.
A few thousand years ago.
Hey man, I'm still skeptical about what they say about those sand
That's
dunes and
almost
stuff.
200 miles.
Yeah, but that's what they're saying about the sand dunes. They're like, the sand dunes formed in the Ice Age. I'm like, the sand dunes formed in the Ice Age. And they're like, it was millions of years of the wind blowing
I would
sand
love
from
to get
sandbars. And I'm like, so you're telling me that the wind blew in one spot for 2.5 million years?
Yeah, because it said,
There's no way. In what world does the weather work like that? It just blew in one spot for 2.5 million years. No, it did not.
We looked it up on the way here.
Yeah, we looked it up on the way here. I'm
was
like,
the
that's
Ice Age-
bullshit.
The Ice
Like,
Age started 2.5 million years ago and stopped 11,000 years ago. So
yeah, I'm like, there's no way. In what world does the wind blow from point A to point B, picking up sand? First of all, how is there that much sand?
Oh, yeah, because it said it was made from, when I looked it up, it said it from the Ice Age. It was because the wind blew it from sandbars in the river. I'm like, what fucking sandbar has that much sand? Holy shit. Because you look at it, it's
Science is trying to find
You're talking
it's
about
1.9 million acres of sand and trees.
You're telling me that for 2.5 million years, 2.5 million years of the wind blowing the same sand into the same spot. There's no way. There's no way. You expect me to believe that in the middle of the Ice Age,
If there's a geological
that there
expert-
was sand in the Arctic Circle, in the Ice Age,
Yeah.
the coldest part of the world, in the middle of the Ice Age, was a dried up sandbar.
in the middle of mountains, too.
In the middle of mountains. I don't believe it. I could be way wrong, but it just screams.
No, if we have a there's a
Bullshit.
geological expert out there that's willing to be on a shitty podcast.
I would love to hear it. I would actually love to
If there's
know.
a geological expert that would be willing to be on a podcast, we would love to have them. If they study like Alaska and stuff and connect, or the Ice Age,
Whole
or
podcast
anything
of just
that can
some guy being like,
explain-
yeah, so the wind actually did blow in the same spot for 2.5 million years. Be like, I never would have thought.
The weird thing is with all that is I'm like, how do you, like, I understand there's like evidence of some things like fossils or whatever, or like weather patterns that reoccur like every couple hundred years or whatever, so you would assume that they would go back a couple thousand years or however long. But how do you prove something when nobody was alive to see it?
I'm sure it has to do with, like, you can check how old soils are.
I probably
and
sound
stuff
fucking
like
retarded,
that.
but you
That's what I'm saying.
because like people know that trees are like 300 years old. There's
Yeah,
plenty
I
of
mean,
ways to measure stuff.
there
But I'm just like, how did they
definitely
get
is.
to the point where they know? Like, where did it become the point where nobody knew about any of this science 400 years ago, and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we know how like something 2 million years ago happened. I'm
Well, it's like
what the
it's like space.
Can't prove it didn't happen. So.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, that's
I took a class on astronomy. I almost said astrology. Not that guy.
No.
Astronomy. I took it to avoid physics. Joke's on me. Astronomy's all physics. Yeah, that didn't help at all. I took physics basically anyway. And what I learned from astronomy is we don't know jack shit about space. Like, it was literally
No, we don't know anything about space, and then we know less about the ocean here than we do about space.
yeah. It was literally hour like and I'm talking like 3+ hour class because it was a once a week class. So 3+ hour class at like 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So there's like nobody at the school of basically this is how this works. We think.
Yeah.
What do you mean you think?
The thing that blows my mind is I'm like, how do we know so little about the ocean? Because it's estimated that we only know about 5% of what there is to know about the ocean. What the fuck was that noise? I won't be able to hear it on microphone, but there was like a buzzing noise.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
But no, I'm like, this stuff is here. How do you not know about it? But I guess it's because, like, when you think about it, the Marianas Trench is, like, extremely deep. It's, I don't know how many miles deep. It's plenty. It's the deepest part of the ocean. And I think only one person's been, like, a certain distance down.
This is why we don't talk about serious subjects.
This is why
Because we don't know jack
because,
shit.
see, is what I'm going to... What the thing is, anybody with, like, scientific brain is going to be like, these fucking morons.
These guys are
So
idiots.
such stereotypical men. They don't know anything, like, sort of thing. Because we don't know, like, we're not scientists.
Not remotely.
Obviously, if a
I
scientist...
know a decent amount about
If a scientist was on
psychology.
this podcast, if a scientist was on an episode and sit here and explain stuff to me, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense, but I don't know any of this stuff.
Yeah, I can tell you about
I'm not
psychology.
claiming-
That's about it.
I'm
but
not
that's-
claiming that I know that this didn't happen. I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, like I said,
I don't
we
know
get
how
100%,
people figured it out.
100% complete, absolutely wrong with all of this. Most likely we are, and we're overlooking something. We have no idea what we're talking about.
I'd love to learn about it.
I would too, but there is, right now, this is the knowledge that we have. It's wind blew sand for 2.5 million years to one spot.
Oh.
I'm not sure.
This is not related to the sand thing, but I just remembered when you were talking about unexpected things in Alaska. The fucking guy that worked at the Talkeetna, like, breakfast place.
He was odd.
Well,
He was like serial killer odd. Like he was odd.
odd, first of all. But
He's
then,
like, oh yeah, I used to live right near you guys. I'm like, dear God, I'm glad you moved.
yeah, no, we sit down. Talkeetna, like I said earlier, is like this little tiny town. What is the population of this fucking town? I know what's
It-
over
They have
it
one
was-
ATM,
It's
literally.
gotta be.
Yeah, I
under
think
that.
one
One
ATM
and no
total.
banks.
Yeah, no banks at all. It was tiny
Somebody's trying
little
to
town.
send me
One
a
ATM
message
was
on
in an
Instagram.
outhouse,
Go
I
fuck
remember
yourself.
seeing that.
That's right. It's a little weird outhouse ATM.
Talkeetna. Oh, and everything was shut down. The
Yeah,
ATM was gone.
the whole town was like
Yeah,
There
the whole
was a
town
sign
was
that
shut
said,
down except the one
Little tiny shack.
one little lady's
This-
merch shop.
Little tiny shack, literally this big, just big enough to hold an ATM. Had a sign ATM. The ATM was gone. Wasn't there.
So,
Probably come back in March.
Probably.
It probably migrates.
Somehow.
Whole ATM's
okay,
just like
I was wrong. It has a population
shuffles
of
away.
1,200 people, but that's still nothing.
Yeah, 1,200 people when there's people there.
1,200 probably like everywhere. You know that's probably 1 miles out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
probably
probably-
like a 500-mile radius, to be honest.
Probably not
with you.
500, maybe like 10.
More than that, probably.
It's got to be more than
Probably
that.
like 100 miles.
It's probably 100
Probably
miles
50
or so.
miles each way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's probably the same milk.
Because it's the closest, like,
closest
town.
city. I mean, you live in Waimama, and people who live 20 miles from you, they have to are something.
Yeah. And that's that population's 9,000.
Inside the actual city, I mean, there's probably 100, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say
There
that
was
town.
probably 25 people when we went.
That town was like a little Wild West
We're
town.
driving through and everything is shut down.
Shut down.
But
Except for the old lady shop.
the old lady shop where she said to Jordan to go to Walmart. That was 4 hours away, and then the other situation where we sit down at this little diner thing in like Talkeetna for breakfast and had fucking reindeer sausage. First of all,
That was kind of interesting.
the other thing was that this guy was like, "Where are you guys from?" We're like, "Tampa." And he's like, "Oh, I used to cross the Courtney Campbell Causeway for work every day." And I'm like, "Why are you here?"
Guy was odd. He was.
Oh, and
The
then-
guy was like, if nobody was around, is secretly a serial killer. If you didn't like his service, like he was like something was off because he was very nice, but he was like that overly creepy nice. Where the horror movie would
It was
be like,
stereotypical small town stuff.
yeah, it'd be like the horror movie of like the longer you're there, you start to find out these secrets, and the more at risk you are, type thing.
Yeah.
Like it was like, he's gonna kill me. Like
Yeah, and then we ordered waters, and we're like, "Can we take the water that's on that table?" He's like, "No, that's Congresswoman water."
yeah.
I'm like, "What the fuck is that supposed to mean?" Turns out we went to the only place in Alaska that this lady that was running for Alaska Senate. She was either trying to be a representative or running to be senator.
Something like that.
And we were like, "Oh, what do you mean, Congresswoman?" And it was this lady. I think her name was like Kelly Shabaka, and he was calling her Chewbacca because her name is like that.
We're like, is it Sarah Palin? Because he's like, no, she's done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was like,
he's-
isn't Sarah Palin the one that's trying to run for senator? And he's
Well,
like,
she's not dead, but
he was like, no, Sarah Palin's done. I'm like, what do you mean done? He's like, done for, gone. I'm like,
Yeah,
huh?
he
I'm like-
flipped like
I'm like,
that.
I'm like, she died? He's like, oh, she's not dead. At least not yet. I don't know. I'm like, what?
Yeah, he was weird. Because when we brought up Sarah Palin like that, he was just changed. It was creepy.
Yeah, this lady's running for Senate, but yeah, she was doing some sort of like speech there, or like meeting or something.
To who?
Yeah,
To who?
Like, why?
Nobody's in the town at this point. Everything's
Anchorage or
closed.
Fairbanks. Pick one. Not Talkeetna, not halfway between both of them where there's 25 people there.
Yeah. Yeah, I did not
And
get
that's where
that
we
at
saw the
all.
people with the fucking Forerunner. They were just.
He was going everywhere we went. It was funny because when we went to pick up
went
the
to China too.
when we that was the thing when we went to go get the minivan. When we went to get the minivan, DJ's like, "Oh, we should have gotten the Forerunner.
We should have gotten the.
We should have gotten the Forerunner
or a truck."
And then for the entire trip after that that's the Forerunner. Like the guy's like following us everywhere.
Had the same rental sticker. Had the
same rental
license
plate, everything. Like it was 100%. It wasn't like. Happened to see of anywhere he could go.
Oh my god!
He went the same path as us everywhere. It was wild. Because I think we saw him towards the end of the trip as well later on, which was just absolutely wild for as big as Alaska is. And we saw the same dude just constantly.
Well, we weren't going to all the tourist traps either. I mean,
No,
went
yeah,
to
we-
a restaurant that had in a city with 25 people.
Yeah, I mean we went to a few places like China and stuff. But we really didn't go for like the touristy place. We weren't staying in any fancy super resorts or anything like that, which they have. They definitely have them.
You can find very expensive places to stay in Alaska.
Yeah.
To do whatever you want to do.
That's where we went to eat the restaurant, sushi place.
Oh yeah, the Alyeska
Alyeska.
Resort.
Yeah. That's.
Yeah, that was fancy.
That shit pissed me off because they were like, no snowboarding. And I was like,
There's
the
snow
mountain's
everywhere,
covered in
bro.
snow, bro.
Like
What-
yeah.
they're like, winter hasn't started. I'm like,
But there's snow.
huh? What do you mean winter hasn't started?
Yeah, it was that was annoying.
No, so we learned that if we go back, we will probably go back when it's colder because then you have a better chance of seeing the northern lights, which means
I don't know that
we're
that's
pretty
true.
satisfied. Well, it's like
They have a
January
season.
is like a good time. It does have a season. It's like August to March.
Yeah.
Um,
October is generally rated to be really good, honestly. So
which is also funny because October is also the least visited month.
which was
for
wild to
travelers,
me. That was
for
wild.
tourists in Alaska. But then we also figured if we ever go back when there's snow, we are going to be taking a truck
Oh yeah.
or like a Forerunner or something.
No more
that's
minivan.
Like four-wheel drive.
No more minivan. That was bad.
We were sliding down the mountain into Mount Nooska Glacier. We were sliding down a mountain when we were trying to go up a mountain.
Yeah.
We started sliding on the opposite way when we were trying to go to, or no, not sliding, but we like stopped moving pretty much when we were trying to go to that one river where there was I think it was Independence Gold Mine is what it's called.
Oh yeah, yeah.
One of the gold mines, but there was like a river there that we ended up just taking a bunch of pictures of.
That was beautiful though. The Utah when it was all
What was the name of
snow.
the fucking snowman that we killed?
Toby, I think. I think it was Toby. I think we gave it to Toby.
Made a
You're talking about the
snowman.
one that we hit with the car?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say because we hit one with the car, we bathed another one in like red Powerade, and then Nick ate it.
Oh yeah.
Then we did that sacrifice.
That
Then
was
we,
at a different gold mine. That was
yeah,
a
that was
private
that
gold
that
mine.
was more south and stuff. But we kept making like new versions of Toby, and then
Mini Toby.
doing something horrible to it. Like,
He took his hydro flask and tried to make like a sponsorship style picture.
Yeah.
He was like, maybe they'll sponsor me. I'm like, bro, you get like 13 likes on your Instagram pictures. They're not gonna see your shit anytime soon.
yeah, if you're not using Reels on Instagram at this point, it doesn't work. Like
That-
Instagram Reels are where it's at right now. Like the engagement from the last podcast post, I put that up and it had like 124 likes in like 24 hours, which is I'm like, well, that's kind of unheard of. And I had people liking my post that I haven't seen or interacted with in like 4 years that
Yeah.
are liking it. I'm like, and they're seeing this and liking it and stuff, and I'm like,
I don't even.
I
scroll
forgot
through-
you existed,
I
to
don't
be
even
honest.
scroll through
Like,
Instagram Reels. I don't know how people like. Well, Nick sends me Instagram Reels, and I'm like, saw this on TikTok 3 weeks ago.
yeah, I like Instagram's Reels
Well,
actually.
I don't really. I don't know. I'm so used to TikTok that I don't go through
Well, because-
Instagram Reels.
Instagram Reels, or if you go under the Explore page, you get sucked into them. They're like they have their. If you go to Explore, they're always in like the top right corner. But then you could just be scrolling through randomly, and then like come across a video, and it's a reel. And if you click on the video, like you press on the video, suddenly it's just all reels as you scroll down.
Yeah.
And Facebook will do the same thing. Those same reels show up on Facebook. If you
Oh,
watch
yeah.
a video on Facebook and you scroll up, the next thing's just going to be some random reel from God knows where.
Never pay for Instagram ads. You pay for a Facebook ad, it'll show up on Instagram.
Yep, absolutely. That's why I try to tell people all the time. Never do
George's
that.
car detailing business. He pays for Facebook ads, and they show up on other websites, because like Facebook has like
Outreach.
A page will like a sports page or something. It was a sports page that ended up like posting something about football, and then I'm scrolling through the page, and it shows his Facebook ad. And I'm like, I know this motherfucker.
Yeah, no, people underestimate Facebook's ads, but Facebook's ads are extremely powerful. Like they.
Oh, it was a sports page that linked to their website, so I was on their website. I wasn't just on a sports page on Facebook. I was on their website.
Well, if you paid for an ad, it would be here.
Oh yeah, Facebook will run. I think I said this in our last episode. Facebook will run ads to show you what your ad will look like.
Oh yeah, yeah. They put it in front of you, just be like, oh, you could have had this. And I'll be honest though, I mean, like one of my things that I like to do for like my Facebook events, when I put up like the event page, like going or interested, put $1 a day to it.
Oh yeah.
And watch the attendance numbers skyrocket.
Why Jordan was looking at like ad things, and it was like 10 days you spend $20. He's like, the statistics for this suck. I'm like, change that $20 to a day, and you'll see like 2,000 views in a day, or more than that.
A lot of my stuff I'll do upwards of $10 a day for a week, and the amount of people is just like 10,000 plus people that will be seeing it and stuff, and it's just like it'll cost me $70, but I'm trying for my ads I run for the purpose of conversion. I want people to see the ad, and I want them to buy a ticket. So it's heavily dependent on what you set your parameters to, what you set like who you're marketing to. Because I know so many people are like, oh, I wasted money on Facebook ads. I'm like, yeah, because you set no parameters. You didn't narrow it down. Like there's so many things that you have to do. It's not a one and done thing.
You don't want to make Facebook have to guess who you're giving your ad to.
And it will. That's the thing. Is the first thing that it offers is smart audience, and it's like, no, don't use smart audience.
I don't need.
Do not use the recommended thing.
I also don't need an 11-year-old watching the podcast. I also don't need a 72-year-old watching the podcast.
That's the other thing. It's you have to set the age range. Like you have to set age range.
You use all sorts of settings that you can do it on. I used to do it for the fishing videos that we would do, but I would only upload a clip, and like the conversion rates that it would do would be really cool too, because I would upload a like 2.5-minute clip, like me and Jordan going through the PDQ drive-through at the end of a fishing run, which was one of my most entertaining videos. And then like the clip would be an ad, and I would run like $5 a day, because at that point the government was just throwing $600 a week at people. So I was like, I'm gonna use this for my content. Yeah. So I would use all of that when everything was shut down, and or not all of it. I would use it to like to fuel the YouTube videos and stuff like that, better equipment, things like that. So then I would pay for an ad like $5 a day for like 4 to 6 days, anywhere around there. And then all of a sudden, not the clip, but the video that the clip came from has like 6,000 views. I'm like, whatever, man. I'm like, I have more views on Facebook than I do on YouTube. And YouTube is supposed to be the video place.
No, YouTube's pretty much dead at this point. It's kind of like we talked about SoundCloud last time I was on, and it's kind of the same thing. Is they just keep upping the ads that you have to watch. And like, pay for us, pay for us, pay for us. And I'm just like, all you're doing is annoying me, and now I'm less likely. And that's what a lot of these corporations don't seem to get, that Facebook is excelling at. Facebook's not shoving ads down my throat. Yeah. YouTube, SoundCloud, stuff like that, it's ad. Snapchat, same thing. You go forward 2 things, ad. 2 more things, ad. 2 more things, ad. It makes me close out of Snapchat. I'm just not going to deal with the ads on it. That's why engagement on Snapchat sucks. Oh yeah. And although they outperformed Facebook recently with numbers and stuff, but same thing for why TikTok does so well.
Addison Rae's getting some sort of show on Snapchat, I saw. Like with a TikTok advertisement that I saw today, and all the comments were like, girl, ain't fucking nobody gonna watch this.
Nobody gonna watch it. Because nobody uses Snapchat as their primary entertainment source. Like they'll use it to message each other and have fun in group chats and post their story, but it's more of a personal thing than it is for like outreach.
I use Snapchat for 2 things. I post pictures all the time because I like the whole like, people can see you'll probably see somebody's pictures on Snapchat, like on their story. More likely to see that than you're likely to see somebody's Instagram post, first of all. I agree with that. I also like the whole thing where it's like, a year ago today you did this. And then the other thing is, that's my main way of talking to everybody in our friend group. Like Jordan,
but that's what I'm saying. It's more of a personal thing.
We have a group of, I think there's 21, 22 of us in it now, which is absolutely insane. I'll actually check. But it's our whole group. It's like me, Jordan, George, Nick.
Well, it's more of a personal thing versus like, if I'm on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, I don't think Instagram even puts ads on it. That's one of the reasons I use Instagram so much. Is like we were just talking about TikTok.
19 people,
TikTok versus Instagram. If I'm going through Instagram Reels, I'll just keep going through Instagram Reels. If I'm going through TikToks, every once in a while an ad comes up, but I'm still more likely to use the one without ads. And I'll see the same content. Because most people who are putting it on TikTok are also putting it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So that's now, I will say, TikTok's outreach, you can just post up with no followers on TikTok and just be TikTok famous suddenly. Like, it's my airsoft pistol. Not me.
Oh, yeah.
My airsoft pistol by itself. The guy who made it posted it up to his channel, and it got like 6 million views, or close to, of just him showing off the pistol that he made for me.
He's like, oh, your pistol's famous, bro.
Yeah. I came back, and he's like, oh, you see the video? I'm like, what video? He's like, your pistol's viral on TikTok. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, it's got almost 6 million views.
And then you
I'm
tried
like,
to do a video of it, and it's got like almost none.
Nah, nobody looks at the stuff that I posted about it. And I tried commenting on people's like responses to it to try and be like, hey, yeah, this is my pistol. Nobody cared. But every time I go to that field, I'm not kidding. I have people who have witnessed it. Every single time I go to that field, I'll stand there for lineup so we can go through briefing for the game mode that we're gonna play. And there'll be some little kid going, looks like the pistol from TikTok. I'm like, it is the pistol from TikTok. Like, no, I'm normally really nice about it and let them see it and stuff like that. And they're always really excited about it because the pistol's TikTok famous. I am not in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, let me see if I can.
But the pistol is.
Pull up your page because you have it on there. Whatever the fuck your TikTok is.
I think I have 2 by accident. I don't use TikTok except to view stuff, honestly. I started to post like airsoft stuff a little bit, but I didn't have the GoPro at the time, so now I'll probably post more. But last trip I made to go play airsoft, I forgot to take a little photo/video, so.
Wanted to give y'all a peek at the apparently TikTok famous pistol made for you by Airsoft JJ Moore.
Yeah, I tagged him for it.
Oh, it's like blue.
Yeah, it's the whole pistol's blue, and that photo probably or video probably doesn't show the whole thing.
No, it doesn't. It's literally just like
okay. Yeah, no, but it shows because I have the tracer unit on the front of it, which is also blue and stuff.
Yeah, I can do an overlay on the video. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but it was yeah.
Is it the same gun as this one?
No, that one's a different one. That's actually the thing is they actually switched. It was like the second or third time I went out there, I was really considering doing it, and then I let them like build it for me.
The guy that did it has 137,000.
Yeah, no, he's got a great channel, honestly, and man is a master at building airsoft guns. Like his work speaks for itself.
Is it this one?
Yeah, that's mine.
I'll put the video that he actually has of it.
Yeah, it's got like if you go
the
back.
disabled saves.
Yeah, well, because his account gets reported for having guns on it repeatedly, because TikTok's hypersensitive about toy guns.
Yeah, it has 5.2 million views.
Yeah, 5.2. There we go.
Looks like the gun from. It's the gun from
every
TikTok,
single time I go to play, looks like the gun from TikTok. I'm like, it is the gun from TikTok. They're like, whoa! And I'm like, yeah, they're always blown away by it every single time.
Wonder if we can get him on the podcast and talk about how he like custom builds them.
I'm probably good at some point. You have to go out there. He's almost always there in like their tech room and stuff.
What, around
like
here,
that.
like Tampa?
No, Jacksonville.
Oh, Jacksonville.
Yeah, I go to Jacksonville to play indoors. Yeah, that's not too bad. But I'll spend a weekend in Jacksonville.
We went to LA a month ago.
Yeah, LA's got good airsoft fields too.
No, I mean like Jacksonville. I don't care about going to Jacksonville. That's fine.
I was gonna say I know a lot of people that are like Jacksonville's horrible, like talking about the whole city. I've never once had a bad like situation or anything like that happen in Jacksonville. Their roads suck.
Oh yeah.
But everybody's nice in Jacksonville. Everybody's nice in Jacksonville. Like I've not had a problem with a single person out there.
And I played an event in Jacksonville a couple of years ago. So, I mean, I liked it. It wasn't anything crazy. I got there, I left my house at like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. I didn't get there until like 5 because it was a thunderstorm, and the guy that was writing it decided, we're going to go on I-4 instead of, anywhere else. And I'm like...
Oh, so you went across and then up.
It was so stupid.
Oh, no, never.
I wasn't the one driving.
No, yeah, you take 75 and then get off at like near Gainesville.
Okay, first
75
of all,
is 301.
It is literally the most dangerous interstate in the country.
It's horrible.
It's rated the most dangerous one in the country.
People shoot each other.
Yeah, Die-4.
Yeah, they shoot each other on I-4 at this point. Like they just do. Like I-4 is horrible.
There's also, daily car accidents.
Always go at night. If you're driving I-4, like if I want to go to Orlando, I go at night.
Yeah.
And there's no traffic on I-4 at night.
Yeah.
Now they said that everybody's going to start driving at night and there's going to be traffic at night, but
Yeah, just our luck. No, but then we got there, had like Chicago like deep style pizza or whatever, which made no sense. Why?
But they got
I
Whataburger.
was there. Oh, I was only there like probably 4 years ago.
Wow.
Let's see, what year is it? Yeah, four.
That would be
4.5 years
2018.
ago.
Yeah.
Like June 2018.
Yeah, about 4
It
years.
was like June 30th. I have stupid memory when it comes to things.
They got Whataburger though. It's worth it just for the Whataburger.
Not 4.5 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago.
4.
So then we went there and it was like terribly raining and all this stuff, and I'm like, we're gonna play in this, and then it stopped raining and it was fine, I guess. But no, I mean everyone that I dealt with was fine there. The roads kind of sucked, but I forget what the actual place was called, but it was like this like outdoor shop area that was like on the river or like on like the water area that's
Near
there.
downtown.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah. So,
excuse me.
I mean, I played there. That was cool. But then I went back the same night, and it was funny because the guy that was driving, it was supposed to be when because we were both gonna play there. He asked me if I would drive one way and he would drive the other way. So I slept that whole night, like got plenty of sleep because I was told that I would be driving there and he would be driving back.
Wound up being the
He
reverse.
drove the whole fucking way there, and I'm like, dude, you told me 2 days ago that you wanted me to drive there. I'm like, it's like
I don't
10
think it's
p.m.
that bad of a drive, to be honest with you. I like it.
Well,
I've made that trip
it's like
so many
4
times.
hours, but I was prepared to.
Yeah,
do
4 hours if you go across the coast
But it
and then
was-
up.
it
It's like 3 if you just go straight
Well,
up and then like
It was like
at an angle.
It was like 11 p.m. and I was tired because I was expecting to drive in the morning. So I was
Yeah.
up all day and playing and all this stuff, and I was like, "You're asking me to drive now?" I'm like, "I don't want you to make you drive both ways, but like, you told me
I
we were
was
gonna do
driving
one
here.
thing, and
Yeah.
you did the direct opposite."
Yeah.
So
I like the drive, but if you go the right way, if it involves I-4, you're not going the right way. Like
Oh,
just
yeah.
plain and simple. But like no, if you go up 75 and then get off near Gainesville, go up 301, easy
Yeah.
trip.
That's kind of like how I don't know, it reminds me of the nightmare that is driving to the Keys.
Never done it? Don't know.
You drive to Key West, it's 7 or 8 hours.
Oh,
Still
jeez.
part of Florida, but 7 or
It
8
is.
hours from here.
That's a
from
long
here.
way.
And it's crazy because it's 3.5 hours to get to Miami, and like then you get like off of like the mainland of Florida, and then you're just on a bridge for like 3 hours. It's just one road in the middle of between the Gulf on one side and the Atlantic on the other.
There's a huge ass bridge outside of New Orleans that's just like 21 plus mile bridge, and it's just over water, and it's just like, and once you are on that bridge, there's no turnaround spots or anything. You have to go across.
Yep.
Like it's just that simple. And God forbid you didn't get gas or something. No, it's 21 miles. You better have gotten gas before then. There's a gas station right before it anyway, and right after it. Same thing with God, what was the place we went through? We went through a part of when we come back from Colorado, coming through a part of New Mexico, and there's no warning signs or anything. Like if we had not gotten gas, we would have broken down halfway through, because it's just like 3 hours plus of driving of just nothing.
So it
There's-
wasn't Alaska. I mean, it wasn't over water, but there was just.
Yeah, Alaska
No
was
cell
saying,
phone
which is
service, just
Gas
straight mountains.
prices.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and then that was before gas prices went like sky high, and they were still like $3.60 there.
Yeah, they were still high there. God, I can't even imagine what they're at now.
I can find out.
So you gotta look.
Let's see.
I'd imagine they're probably in the high 4s or maybe even 5s at this point.
We're in the high 4s here.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think we're in Denali when we got gas. Nobody's reported the price of it. Okay.
Just not enough people to report
just
it.
go to
Nobody cares.
Alaska. 366, 399. I want to go.
Look at Anchorage or Fairbanks.
We'll go Anchorage because usually cities are higher priced. About 480.
It's about, it's not too
It was more
horrible.
expensive in the middle. There was that one gas station.
In Fairbanks, it's $5.
Fairbanks is 5.
Wait,
Yeah.
it's further away. That's more.
Yeah, and it's also more of a populated town. It's a college town.
Let's see. No, they don't have China. What the fuck is that place called?
Talking about like Alyeska and stuff, or
No, I want to try someplace else. Oh, nobody's reported it there. I was gonna see if anybody reported it in any of the towns that Alaska Airlines flies to near the sand dunes.
oh yeah, no, I doubt it.
The ones that would take weeks.
That's
to walk into the
I was
sand
about to say that's where we were. We went into some desolate areas. Going out further that way there's nothing out there. There's TV shows about how there's nothing out there.
Yeah.
Like there's TV shows about in that
No
area.
civilization. It'd
Yeah.
be amazing to go there, but
If you call the cops out there, there's one cop covering like 10,000 miles out there, or 10,000 like acres out there. Like it's probably more than that, honestly.
yeah.
There's whole TV shows about the cops out there because there's only one cop covering this massive area, and you
I'm
call.
the sheriff. of
Well,
this
that's
town.
literally it. It's
I'm
like
the only sheriff.
it's
of
like
this
oh,
town.
they called the cops. I'll be there in 4 days. Bro, they've been dead for 4 days because it took you 4 days to get there. They can't do anything about it though.
Yeah.
Like that's just that
It's kind
simple.
of similar to how there's Mount Everest and there's like, I think it's like the rainbow something that they call it when you're like the rainbow trail or something towards the top of Mount Everest, and they call it that because of all the different colored jackets.
Yeah,
With, like dead bodies. That are
dead
there.
bodies and stuff.
And it's like so far up, they can't get them back down.
They're dead.
Yeah.
That's it. Leave it.
And it's so cold that like they're not skeletons either.
No, they're preserved. That's
Yeah.
that's the scary part. Is
That's
the,
the weirdest
snow
part.
preserves them
It's
and
like,
stuff.
Dear God, man.
I don't know.
Remind me to
I
never
wouldn't
try
want
to
to
go
see that. Imagine
Hell yeah.
imagine getting close to finishing that hike, and the last part of that hike is just terrifying. Like it's just horribly terrifying. So
Yeah. No, I'd rather never go to Mount Everest. I'd rather just stick to my Alaska.
I'm sticking with Alaska.
I want to go to that fucking desert.
I might try Canada at some point.
I don't have a passport.
I don't have a passport either.
We got-
But at some point,
maybe sometime soon we'll look into getting passports because it takes.
You need a passport to drive into Canada. You only need one to fly into Canada.
huh?
No, you need a passport. You got there's a passport card which is for Canada and Mexico, and then there's the book which is to fly to countries. The passport card is like
But you don't
$60,
need
$80. The book is $120, but
That's not
the
bad.
fucking book, man. Right now it takes 12 to 16 weeks to get it.
You
It's
can
still
go
not
in
that
there,
bad.
You can get back from Canada at the border. You can't fly back, but you can get back with your driver's license and birth certificate. So if you fly into Detroit, you can drive into Canada.
That's true.
I doubt if I'm traveling, I'm going to be taking my birth certificate with me.
You will if you don't have a passport.
You're like, I swear. They're like, how do we know it's real? It's real.
Man, I don't even know where my social security card is.
I don't know what it is.
I just have my number memorized.
I was gonna say, I hope
Honestly,
you
my
know it.
family, somebody in my family probably knows
It's
where it is.
no, I'm kidding.
No. But it's getting hot as fuck in here,
It is.
and we've been going at it for probably a while, so probably honestly gonna wrap it up. We also have like, we're gonna work on some like pictures and stuff like that after this to get like some official like consistent stuff on the website, and so some things might be updated and changed by the time this goes up. Who knows? We'll figure it out. Episode after this I've already filmed, so the next one that will be filmed will also be with Dom. Eventually, sometime. It'll go up in 2
Sometime.
weeks.
Hockey puck.
Oh, next episode is the guy that made the incense.
Don't light it.
Don't light
No,
it.
I'm not. Not again. It's great. It's a great product, but
We're not doing another one
not when
tonight.
you're in a
The studio is 100
It-
by 100 inch.
yeah
Yeah.
100-inch fucking room. Like it's not.
You know what? I'll just put it there. I won't light it.
It's gonna light itself because it was hot, and I'm gonna be.
Yeah, I'm starting to sweat. So
I am too.
yeah, Dom is going to be our new co-host. So this is now half or a third his podcast as well, because there's 3 of us working on it. Finally, we have a consistent team now. I think that's pretty good. So stay tuned for the next few guests because we've got some interesting ones planned. Dom's probably going to start being on guest episodes, so that'll be a little more fun.
Eventually.
You won't just see my ass.
If they're like
one-on-one.
more local most of the time because it's hard for me to travel.
Yeah. So I get lucky with my schedule, but yeah, it'll be cool. So I think that's pretty much everything, and we'll see you guys next week.